When was the last time you had a real conversation with another man? Not surface level stuff, I mean real talk. If you can't remember, you're not alone. And here's the thing, your isolation wasn't an accident, it was engineered. I'm going to show you exactly how our culture, our technology, and our economy systematically dismantled male friendship and what it's costing you right now. This isn't about being antisocial, this is about survival. By the end, you'll understand the exact forces that weaponized your loneliness. And if you stay until the end, I'll reveal the one shift that can reverse decades of isolation. Welcome back to Deeper Dudes. But first, let's talk about why this matters more than you think. The Harvard Grant study followed over 700 men for 85 years. 85 years of data tracking everything: health, happiness, success, longevity. And here's what they found. The quality of your relationships is the single strongest predictor of your lifespan and your happiness. Not your income, not your career success, your connections. Men with strong social ties had 29% lower risk of heart disease. They had 50% lower risk of dementia. And they lived significantly longer. But here's where it gets dark. Isolated men had a 60% increased risk of early death. That's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Your loneliness is literally killing you faster than obesity. And yet, we're in the middle of what researchers call a friendship recession. In 1990, only 3% of American men reported having zero close friends. Today, that number is 15%. 1 in 5 men under 30 has no close friends at all. None. Think about that. An entire generation of men navigating life completely alone. No one to call when things fall apart. No one who really knows them. And this isn't just sad, it's lethal. The deaths of despair, suicides, overdoses, alcohol-related deaths have skyrocketed among men in the last 2 decades. And social isolation is one of the core drivers. So how did we get here? Because this didn't happen by accident. Let me take you back. In the 1800s, male friendship looked completely different. Men wrote letters to each other that sound like love poetry today. They were physically affectionate. They leaned on each other emotionally. But then, something shifted. The Industrial Revolution changed how men related to each other. Work became competition. Emotional expression became weakness. The ideal man became the stoic provider, the lone wolf who needed no one. This was reinforced through every generation. Your grandfather learned it, your father learned it, and you absorbed it without anyone ever saying it out loud. Real men don't need help. Real men don't talk about feelings. Real men handle it alone. What a load of crap. But it gets worse. Because once that cultural conditioning was in place, technology accelerated it. Social media promised connection, but delivered performance. You're not sharing your life. You're curating a highlight reel. The algorithm doesn't reward vulnerability. It rewards engagement, outrage, comparison, envy. And here's the kicker. Every tech platform is engineered to keep you scrolling alone. Because isolation is profitable. The lonelier you are, the more you consume. The more you consume, the more ads they serve. Your loneliness isn't a bug. It's the business model. And men are uniquely vulnerable to this because we were already conditioned to not reach out. So we scroll instead of calling a friend. We watch instead of connecting. We numb instead of feeling. And every year, the gap widens. I know because I lived it. There was a period in my life where I realized I hadn't had a real conversation with a male friend in months. I had colleagues, I had acquaintances, but no one I could actually talk to, no one who knew what I was really going through. And the shame of that kept me from reaching out. Because admitting you're lonely feels like admitting you failed at being a man. But loneliness isn't a personality flaw, it's an alarm system. And here's exactly how to respond to it. Before we go any further, I want to pause for something important. None of what we've been talking about matters if we don't have the energy and clarity to actually implement it. Look, we can't become the best version of ourselves on a broken foundation. We all know what it feels like to wake up exhausted. No energy, poor focus, and zero motivation. We've all been there. We also know what it feels like when we get good, restful sleep, targeted therapy, and the right supplements. I've personally tested more things than you can imagine. I'm like your personal guinea pig. Everything in the description below is science-backed and extensively tested. And if you grab anything through my links, you'll be supporting this channel at zero cost to you. Thanks for taking a look. Now let's get back to it. If this is helping, please hit that like button so more men can find this when they need it most. And drop a comment. When was the last time you had a real conversation with another man? No judgment, just truth. Here's the truth about male friendship that changes everything. Men don't bond face to face. We bond side by side. Research from evolutionary psychology shows that women tend to form friendships through direct conversation and emotional disclosure. But men, we connect through shared activity, hunting together, building together, fighting together. This isn't a defect, it's how we're wired. Dr. Jeffrey Grief, who studied male friendships for decades, found that men rarely sit down and talk about their feelings. But put them in a context, working on a car, playing basketball, going on a hike, and the conversation flows naturally. This means if you're waiting to feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable before you reach out, you're doing it backwards. You don't build the friendship first and then do things together. You do things together and the friendship builds. This is the on-ramp. And it leads directly into the most powerful strategy. Strategy 1, identify one shared activity. Not a coffee date, not a deep talk, a recurring, structured activity. Here's the system. Choose something you're already doing or want to start. Lifting, hiking, a weekly poker game, a book club, a project. Invite one man you respect or want to know better. Commit to a specific time, weekly or bi-weekly. Let the activity create the container. The conversation will happen naturally. When I started a weekly men's hiking group, the first few weeks were surface level. But by week 4, one guy opened up about his divorce. Another talked about his dad's death. We didn't plan it. The context made it safe. Small steps rebuild big lives. And once you're moving, the next piece amplifies everything. But here's where most men go wrong. They think they need a lot of friends. Research shows that's not true. Robin Dunbar, the anthropologist, found that humans can maintain about 150 casual relationships, but only 5 close friendships and 15 good friends. For men, that number is often lower, and that's okay. You don't need a crew. You need 2 or 3 men who really know you. Men you can call at 2 a.m. Men who will tell you the truth. Men who show up. This leads directly into the second strategy. Strategy 2. Go first with vulnerability. Here's the truth. Someone has to break the ice. And it's probably gonna be you. Not because you're weaker, but because you're aware enough to know this matters. The Navy SEALs have a concept called the combat mindset. It's the ability to act decisively in the face of fear. That same principle applies here. You're scared to reach out. Do it anyway. You're worried you'll be rejected. Reach out anyway. You don't know what to say. Say that. Here's the script. Hey man, I realized we haven't connected in a while. Want to grab a beer? Or, I'm trying to be more intentional about friendship. Would you be down to start a weekly run? Most men are starving for this. They're just waiting for someone else to go first. When I reached out to an old friend I hadn't spoken to in years, I was terrified. I thought he'd blow me off. Instead, he said, "I'm so glad you texted. I've been meaning to reach out but didn't know how." That conversation became a weekly call that's now been going for 3 years. One text changed everything. And once you've made the move, the final piece changes your life. Strategy 3. Create depth, not just frequency. The mistake most men make is thinking friendship is about hanging out a lot. It's not. It's about going deep. Dr. Brené Brown's research on connection found that vulnerability is the birthplace of belonging. You don't feel close to someone because you see them often. You feel close because you've been seen by them. So here's how to build depth. Share one real thing per conversation. Not performative. Real. A fear, a failure, a hope. Ask one real question. Not what's up, but how are you really doing? What's been hard lately? What are you working through? Practice listening without fixing. Men default to problem solving. Sometimes your friend just needs to be heard. When you combine all three strategies, shared activity gives you the context, going first with vulnerability breaks the ice, and creating depth builds the bond. This is how men build real friendship. Not just surface-level acquaintances, but brothers who actually know you. And here's the thing. This doesn't just make you happier. It makes you stronger. Because the research is clear. Men with close friendships handle stress better. They recover from setbacks faster. They live longer. They show up better as fathers, as husbands, as leaders. Your friendships aren't a luxury. They're the foundation. And every day you wait is a day you're carrying weight you were never meant to carry alone. Drop a comment. Which strategy are you starting with? Number 1, identify one shared activity. Number 2, go first with vulnerability. Or number 3, create depth, not just frequency? Let me know below. Well, that's it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We hope you found it helpful. If you did, please be sure to give it a like and maybe even subscribe to Deeper Dudes. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. It all helps the channel more than you know, and it also tells us that we should make more content like this. We post videos every other day that tackle real challenges men face. So if you liked this one, you're probably going to enjoy the others. Remember, struggling doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. The fact that you took time to watch this means you're ready for something better. Thanks again for watching and for checking out all the amazing products in the description below. They could jumpstart your healing journey. Catch you in the next one, Deeper Dudes. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, keep thriving.